Can't you see? Everyone! They're here already! You're next!
Let's go!
Welcome to the future, where the glass is half full and you'll need new glasses, where you'll be jumping from conclusions.
The past is a no, and a new future is born.
Never before in history has so much meant so little to so many. AD on the radio.
So it shows absolutely no sign of slowing down. Like this distraction of Trump versus the NFL. Another successful way.
Did you change your mind about taking a knee?
Oh, you mean
because
when we
you were
asked the
pretty
other
heavy
day
on the air, but later on.
Well, I mean, so much has come and gone, and so much has come to pass. And if you're asking me, look, we asked each other, would you take a knee if you were a football player? In the wake of everything that's happening, would you, before the game, take a knee? And I had a pretty specific answer.
And I said something like, I would because that's my loudest voice. It can't get much louder than that as a football player. More eyes.
Well, I respect that, seeing as you are a professional football player, and that is your loudest voice, running back Funkhouser. But I have not changed my answer. And we'll talk about why and what my answer would be in this situation later. And it's not because I begrudge anybody the right to protest. Hold on. I can't get into that just yet because I'm so enthralled by Swift Biscuit. You know what this is?
No, what's that?
Have you heard this? Before we deal with all the heavy stuff, let's have a little fun, shall we? Let's start with dessert. Swift Biscuit. If Taylor Swift was a Limp Bizkit song, somebody it's brilliant. Somebody took clips of Taylor Swift interviews, spliced them together, and sang them as if they were a Limp Bizkit song. So I present to you Swift Biscuit.
I'm like a serial dater, and everything's great till they leave and I'm devastated. I get crazy and obsessed, and then I write songs to get revenge because I'm psychotic. I don't trust technology. I started screaming at my phone, stop. I wake up and I have all these piles of dead cats all over the floor. I will have a meltdown on the show. I have double jointed elbows, so it's more important to be edgy and sexy and cool than anything else. Oh my God, you're irritated. Then I'm just being myself. If you knew my nightmare world, you'd be terrified. Society is sick. We're all sick. I'm just gonna die.
How brilliant is that?
Oh my goodness gracious!
Moment of
I want that on
genius.
CD.
Who is it? Who did that?
Can I Shazam that?
It's on YouTube. Swift Biscuit. Let's see. And they're actually the thing that I really appreciate about them is the amount of work that they put into finding a bunch of bits of Taylor Swift interviews and making them rhyme. The video is great. It's by someone called Nick Lutzko, and it's on a YouTube page called Super Deluxe, and the entire world needs to know about it. So there you go. Like I said, today I felt the need to start with dessert.
That was tasty.
Right. Shall we just dive right in? Shall we dive right into what the hell is going on in the world of Trump versus sports? Big Ben regrets, Tom Brady defends, and Michael Jordan joins in. All of these things are things that are happening in our life, in our purview, that, if you ask me, well, okay. Let's just dive right in, shall we? Steelers quarterback Ben Roethlisberger says he now regrets the team's decision to stay off the field until after the national anthem this past Sunday, just gone by. He released a statement on his website saying the idea was to be unified as a team when so much attention is paid to things dividing our country. But I wish we approached it differently. I personally don't believe the anthem is ever the time to make any kind of protest. Oh, look at that. Yeah, there's Ben Roethlisberger suddenly getting some principles, saying that he regrets not coming out of the tunnel when where he and his teammates were during the national anthem on Sunday. But I think only because there were no college co-eds to sexually assault in there. Yes.
Can I change my answer now since Roethlisberger would not do it? I won't do it either.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. That's my moral gauge.
Yeah. Everybody always looks to what would Ben Roethlisberger do. It's whenever you're in search of any kind of moral compass, you look to the guy who, like I said, has gotten into all sorts of hot water regarding the sexual assault of college co-eds. Remember Alejandro Villanueva? He's like the one Steelers player who came out of the tunnel to stand for the national anthem. Well, turns out he didn't mean to come out that far. He was just trying to see the flag, and now he feels like he let his coach and his teammates down. Still, his jersey shot way the hell up in popularity as a result of his mistake. At one point yesterday morning, it was like the 5th, I think, best-selling jersey at NFLshop.com. The king of football, Lord High Commander of all things pigskin related, Tom Brady has weighed in. What did he have to say? We'll get into it.
Real radio.
104.1.
Where the left and right come together for fundamental truths. AD on the radio, on Twitter at ADSXE.
Do what I want, when I want, how I want. Every day you're going and working, running that rat race and that pace.
So, Tom Brady's actual relationship with President Trump has always been a bit of a mystery. Like, there was this idea that maybe he was going to endorse Donald Trump, and he came out and he said some stuff about Donald Trump in the run-up to the election, but then he was like, hey, I just said I like some of the stuff that he's saying. I didn't say I actually endorse him. But he made his feelings known about the Trump stance on the NFL and the national anthem. It's kind of interesting stuff. Let's have a listen. Check it out.
I certainly disagree with, what he said and thought it was just divisive. And, like I said, it's, I just want to support my teammates. And I always said I'm never one that says, oh, that's wrong or that's right or but I do believe in what I believe in. And I believe in bringing people together and respect and love and trust. And those are the values that my parents instilled in me. And that's how I try to live every day. And, I've been blessed to be in a locker room with guys from all over the United States over the course of my career. Some of my great friends are from, Florida, Virginia, New York, Montana, Colorado, Texas. I mean, I think one thing about football is it brings so many guys together, guys that you would never have the opportunity to be around, whether it was in college and all the way into the pros. And we're all different, and we're all unique, and that's what makes us all so special.
Tom Brady was also asked about whether or not he agrees with his teammates at all times.
When you're in a locker room full of 53 players, and you're working toward a common goal, you support the guys that you play with, and you support your coaches. Your coaches support you. And you just do the best you can do. And I just say, we're just, you're navigating your way through life. These things aren't easy, and, everyone deals with different challenges in their life. And, you respect everyone's opinions and views, and you don't have to agree with everything. Certainly, it's hard to agree with your own wife, on everything from day to day.
Tom Brady was also asked if he heard the boos when the Patriots did what they did, linking arms, taking knees, and so on and so forth. And this is what he thought.
Yeah, I did. I mean, I think everyone's got a right to do whatever they want to do. I mean, it really is. If you don't agree with it, that's fine. You can voice your disagreement. That's absolutely, I think that's great. It's part of our democracy, and that's, as long as it's done in a peaceful, respectful way, I mean, that's what this country's been all about.
So Michael Jordan also joined the fight between Trump and the Golden State Warriors. He said, quote, "Those who exercise the right to peacefully express themselves should not be demonized or ostracized. I support Commissioner Adam Silver, the NBA, its players, and all those who wish to exercise their right to free speech." Now, here's an interesting one. President Trump thought he had all the NASCAR people on lockdown on his side, but one notable exception has emerged. Dale Earnhardt Jr., who threw his support behind the NFL players and even dropped a quote from JFK saying, quote, "Those who make peaceful revolution impossible will make violent revolution inevitable," which is heady stuff. And I gotta tell you, part of me regrets that Dale Earnhardt Jr. has joined the fray, not because I would deny him his opinion or his free speech, but I don't know if you've noticed, but I smell really good lately, Funkhouser, and there's a reason for that.
Okay.
It's because I am currently endorsing Degree deodorant for men.
Oh, an endorsement, huh?
Yeah. There's a little campaign where I use Degree deodorant, and you know what? I got to tell you, like in all honesty,
what did you use before?
I'm not being paid to tell you this, and I don't know what I used before, but I never used Degree. I always used a stick though, because I'm a sweaty, stinky guy. Like I don't trust a spray to get the job done. I don't trust a spray to work and not create a never-ending waterfall midway through the day from yours truly and his armpits. And that's gross. But the Degree spray works, and the logic is, hey, Dale Earnhardt Jr. is in a NASCAR race, and he is unbelievably hot. Like, I don't know if you know how hot it gets inside those things when NASCAR racers are doing their things, but man, it's unbelievably hot. So, but he's one of the athletes that's linked to this sort of thing, and the shtick is, hey, if Dale Earnhardt Jr. is kept cool and dry under pressure by using Degree deodorant for men, then why not you sitting there at your desk, lard ass, is what I ask myself. That's the thing. Now, Steph Curry is part of it. And I was like, Donald Trump, the president of these United States of America, who one half of the country despises and the other half of the country loves, is actively calling out Steph Curry on Twitter. Like, there's an actual war of words happening between this athlete now. And I was just like, maybe we shouldn't be talking about Steph Curry in these spots, just because I don't want to have them, I don't want to get grief from people that are all mad about Steph Curry because they're massive Donald Trump fans. And, this is about deodorant and sending people to go to the NASCAR 500, which is an awesome thing, as opposed to getting their political hackles up. So I wasn't really mentioning Steph Curry in some of them. Now, Dale Earnhardt Jr., who is the guy, the focus of what I was talking about on the radio, has weighed in with an unbelievably powerful JFK quote going after Trump, saying those who make peaceful revolution impossible will make violent revolution inevitable. And my life significantly harder. Thanks a lot, Trump. Now I have to find a new person to talk about during my deodorant commercials.
For more stimulation and less irritation, 9 out of 10 doctors choose KPRC AM 950, Houston's more stimulating talk radio.
Don't get the blues, get all the news. We mean all of you guys out there in Radio Land. All aboard!
He's back. AD on the radio.
Give it up, yeah. Give it up, yeah. Bring this on, come on, come on.
Do you remember back in 2013 when Donald Trump...
Do you remember?
Do you remember back in 2013, before Donald Trump was president of these United States of America and leader of the free world, do you remember him saying that the president had more important things to deal with than telling NFL teams what to do? Do you remember that?
There's a Trump tweet for everything.
Yeah. The internet sure remembers it. In 2013, there was all this brouhaha about whether or not the Redskins should remain the Redskins. And Barack Obama weighed in saying, I would change the name if I owned the team, or I think it's the right thing to change the name of the team, or whatever the hell it was he said. And, Trump did not approve of that in any way, shape, or form. He said, presidents, and this is recorded for all posterity in a tweet, presidents should not be telling the Washington Redskins to change their name. Our country has far bigger problems. Focus on them, not nonsense. Of course, now that Trump is president, he has spent the last several days imploring NFL teams to fire or suspend players who choose to kneel in protest during the national anthem, tweeting that the NFL should change policies, saying, wouldn't you love to see one of these NFL owners, when somebody disrespects our flag, say, get the son of a bitch off the field? Now he's fired. He said sports fans should never condone players that do not stand proud for their national anthem or their country. NFL should change policy. There's some stuff going on. There's the whole complete and utter lack of a new form of health care that we can all get behind. There's a rather testy situation going on with a certain Kim Jong. And you know what? This is one time where I think it would be useful for Donald Trump to take his own advice. Anywho, LeBron James apparently doesn't regret calling Donald Trump a bum. I don't know if you've been following this war words. And it's interesting that he doesn't regret calling Donald Trump a bum. Back when we were still not sure who the hell it was going to be president, there was one thing that I noticed. And I suppose this had been eroding for some time. But the thing that I noticed in the run-up to it, I was like, you know what? It kind of doesn't matter. It kind of doesn't matter who winds up being president in this situation. The most important takeaway from this election for me, because, I wasn't a fan of Hillary and not a fan of Trump, but the most important takeaway for me was, oh man, the idea of respect for the office of the president is officially a thing of the past. And it will never probably, I would imagine, be the same again, where you kind of like had at least some sort of sense of dignity with regard to your country and with regard to the office of president when you're talking about this sort of stuff, certainly publicly. And look, I suppose the way Donald Trump carries himself and the way he speaks begets this kind of speak. But yeah, LeBron James does not regret calling Donald Trump a bum, as evidenced here.
Is there any regret that you got into a name-calling situation with the president?
No. A name calling. What'd I say? Let me hear you say it.
Called him a bum.
It's not a name call. You bum. Me and my friends call each other that all the time. I'm not his friend, though. I don't want to see that on the note. He's not my friend. No. That was the first thing that when I woke up and saw what he said about Steph Curry, that was funny to me when I woke up and saw that. So my first initial response was, you bum. I can't. He doesn't understand the power that he has. We are at a time where the most powerful position in the world has an opportunity to bring us closer together as a people, inspire the youth, and put the youth at ease on saying that it is okay for me to walk down the street and not be judged because of the color of my skin or because of my race. And he has no recollection of that, and he doesn't even care. Maybe he does, but he doesn't care. So, do I take away? Do I just say take away you bum off my? No, because if I did, I would have deleted my tweet.
So there you go. It's an interesting one, and he does
run for president 2020.
And this is the thing, Donald Trump, he's always so close to doing something good, and then he trips over his own junk. He's always so close to, like, he has moments where you go, oh, maybe this could be, maybe you would. The idea of him bringing people together. He said it in his victory speech. He said it in his inauguration speech. He said it's time for all of us to come together as a people. And then he says and does the most divisive stuff. Now, look, I understand free speech does not mean consequence-free speech. And I think a lot of people need to recognize that as they go through the world and go through life. But LeBron's absolutely right about one thing. Donald Trump is in a tremendous position to rise above, be the better man, bring people together. He really, really is. And the way he carries himself, if he wasn't, I don't know why I bother even talking about this, because he's not going to change the way that he carries himself. But if he was to have a moment of putting aside the slings and arrows, putting aside the back and forth with professional athletes on Twitter, putting aside the argumentative, thin-skinned nature of his personality, letting it all slide off his back and saying, you know what, let's find a way to come together as a people. There are a lot of people very upset about a lot of things. Right now, we are in a day and age where our voices are getting louder and louder. yet fewer and fewer of us are being heard. So let's stop and really take a moment, despite what has happened over the past couple of weeks, and come together and recognize that we're all one people and all in it together. If Donald Trump said something like that, game changer, because no one would expect it from him, and he could appear that much more magnanimous, and he could become, at least for one moment, a hero of the American public if he really did manage to unite. Hell, man, I should get Bannon's old job. That would work, right, Funkhouser?
Uh-huh.
Don't you think that would be incredible?
Sounds
I do.
good to me.
Yeah.
AD,
Monday
AD
Night
for president,
Football.
2020, everyone.
Well, no. I would never actually want the presidential gig.
We're getting T-shirts made, everyone. We've got some license plate covers that are getting printed as we speak. AD 2020.
You know what was interesting to me? On Monday Night Football, the Dallas Cowboys, they came up with a solution. If you recall, we were talking about this on Monday before any of this actually happened and saying, look, all this different symbolism, there's all these different interpretations about what the right thing is to say and do in these situations, because there's all these different takes. You know, some people took a knee. Some people locked arms with other people. Some people put their hands on their shoulders. And what was, I think, the most telling thing that happened was the fact that after Donald Trump called people sons of bitches and told the NFL to change their policy or face a presidentially inspired boycott, people from all over the world of professional sports started with their own interpretations of this. You remember there was that one baseball player. Well, it started obviously with Kaepernick taking a knee. Other football players did something similar. That baseball player, the rookie on the Oakland A's, he kneeled the other day, but it was a different take on it. He did it with a personal twist. He took off his hat and he put his hand over his heart, meaning I think that our nation has problems, but I still respect our country and want it to be the best that it is. That's how I interpreted it. Then one guy next to him put his hand on his shoulder while standing, which I think was a show of support. And then there was the football player linking arms thing, while others took knees. And then there were people not coming out until the national anthem was over. And fans booed and all of the above. And it just made me think there's all these different interpretations, all these different personally interpreted moments of symbolism that I was like, well, what if you stand for one half of the anthem and you have your hat off, and then you kneel for the other half, but with your hat on, and then with your hand on your heart, you lead the crowd in a rousing chorus of I'm a Yankee Doodle freaking dandy while flying a Canadian flag upside down, tweeting the hashtag Coney 2012, but Instagramming rainbow-colored stars and bars while insisting on a Confederate statue being replaced by an organic free trade non-GMO coffee dispensing machine, which you built with your AR-15 on your back because it's an open carry state, and that's the right a correction to our Constitution gives you. It all becomes this really weird, vague, different interpretation and take on every single situation. And every single time this happens, you think there's going to be some clarity, but it just gets more meaningless. And that's why I was fascinated by what the Dallas Cowboys did. They had this solution to the national anthem controversy because, well, Jerry Jones, I think, had been very vocal about not taking a knee during the anthem. So what they did was they locked arms and took a knee, but they did it before the flag was unfurled on the field, before the national anthem started. And then they were back on their feet for their anthem, and owner Jerry Jones did it with them. And people still complained about it. There's just no way to win. There's just no way to win in these situations. And this is why you asked me, Funkhouser, would I take a knee? And I said no. And it's not because I don't support what people are trying to say. And first and foremost, when did the NFL get a set of principles? I mean, I get it. I get the individual thing. But the NFL the NFL was dragged into it by Donald Trump. But as we've said in the past, the NFL, not the most principled bunch of individuals. They're all big on fining people for doing things that are, it's reprehensible, some of the things they fine people for. You remember running back D'Angelo Williams received a uniform violation fine, $6,000 for wearing a Find the Cure sign on his eye black in honor of breast cancer awareness. William Gay, cornerback, got fined the same amount for wearing purple cleats to show support for domestic violence awareness. His mother was shot and killed by his stepfather when he was 7 years old, and he's publicly supported the cause for years. He's done public service announcements. So the NFL being uppity about players' rights to personal expression, kind of a new deal for them. And like I said, we got to be clear. The NFL, who turn a blind eye to issues of domestic violence and the health of their players, facing off in a battle for the moral high ground where the president grabbed them by the lady bits. In this particular clash of self-righteousness, there's a lot of rocks being thrown in glass houses while the pots in those glass houses insist that the kettle is a tad darker than kettles ought to be, which is, of course, a subject about which the pot would know very little. So they're not really operating from a morally high place, the NFL. Maybe the individual members of the team, the folks that are deciding to express themselves in that way are. But the NFL has a long history of saying personal expression for a worthy cause. But the reason I wouldn't take a knee is because, for me, and like I said, I support the right of anybody that wants to take a knee taking a knee, because this is America and we have free speech. It's not consequence-free speech. You risk making people very, very angry. You risk damaging your career. You risk, by using your free speech, any number of things. Like I said, and we've always said on this show, free speech is not consequence-free speech. You live in the real world. But the reason I wouldn't take a knee is because nothing's ever solved by arguing. Me saying, shut up and listen to me, idiot, you're wrong, never really got anybody to shut up and listen to me, I found, after numerous failed attempts. And, well, this ties into not taking a knee.
You just know you're done. You're longing for that shining sun. You walk these streets most every day. You're waiting to get washed away.
More AD on the radio.
So like I said, I wouldn't take a knee. Not because I don't support the right of people to take a knee, but because, man, I have yet to ever encounter a situation in my life where an argument really helped anything. Me saying, shut up and listen to me, I'm right, you're wrong, well, that never garnered the greatest results. No one's obligated to shut up and listen to you in these situations. And if you do that, someone's going to walk away from you, and they're not going to listen. And they're going to get more and more entrenched in the way they feel, and they're going to find other people that feel the way they feel, and they're going to get together, and they're going to talk about me and how I'm wrong and how I'm an idiot and how they're all right and I suck, and our paths will never cross again. And if they do, it probably won't be pleasant. My father told me, and this is a guy who made a living out of negotiating in some very tough situations. My father did business in Cold War Russia. I think I've told you this story. But I remember asking, I was like, what was it like doing negotiations in Cold War Russia? How did that go? And he was like, Russia at that time, and maybe still today, is an interesting place. In every single activity that a Russian partakes in, doesn't matter what it is, could be a negotiation, could be a walk down the street. In every single situation, to a Russian, there's a winner and a loser. So you got to understand that everything's a competition. And I remember he told me this story, which I think I've told on the air before, but he was going into a negotiation. He was getting ready in the bathroom beforehand, and he saw one of his colleagues eating a half pound of butter. He's like, what the hell are you doing? What the hell are you doing? And he was like, oh, well, after you reach every single point on this contract, the Russians insist on you taking a shot of vodka. It's sort of an intimidation thing, and they're trying to get you drunk. And I can't work after a bunch of shots of vodka. And so he was eating the butter to stop the alcohol from getting into his system. My father, on the other hand, said he had an okay tolerance and got through it, but it was an incredible thing. I was like, when you go into those really hairy situations, how do you win? How do you get what you want? He was like, diplomacy is the art of letting people have things your way. Diplomacy is really the art of communication. And this is why I wouldn't take a knee, because it would drive people away and restrict my ability to communicate directly with them. The people that don't want to see folks take a knee aren't suddenly going, you know what, we do have an issue here. We do have an issue in this country. And gosh, maybe we haven't paid close enough attention to it. I'm going to see what I can do to help moving forward. No, they're going, look at these people saying there's racism. There's no racism. I've heard so many people talk about how unracist America is in the wake of all this. And a couple of weeks ago, they probably would have said, yeah, there are definitely problems with racism, and that's sad, and I combat it wherever I can. But you put them on the defensive, and they dig themselves in that much further. Now, look, prejudice, it's been shown time and time again. The one thing prejudice can't stand up to is contact. It's really easy to remain angry at people when they're not in your face. They're not part of your life. I noticed this with the different places that I've lived. Like, my family's from the Northeast, and it's pretty safe to assume that when you walk out of your house and say, I'm a liberal Democrat, the vast majority of the people around you are going to say the same thing. Grew up around that as a New Yorker. And when I moved to Texas, same deal, different side of the coin. You could walk out of your house and go, guns, no Obama. And there would be a rousing chorus of guns, no Obama. Everybody feels the same way. I noticed certain things, though, when I went to different towns. Austin, Texas, I don't know if you've ever been there, is the capital of Texas. It's got all the things that are extraordinarily Texan about it. But it's also a complete hippie musical community. Gun-toting Republican types often think and feel a little bit differently than musician artistic types. I'm not saying that there's not gun-toting Republican musicians, but you get where I'm going with this. Yet you put them in the same place and they all seem to find a way to deal with each other and tolerate each other a little bit better. San Diego, where I spend a lot of my time for the work that I do on San Diego's rock station, Rock 105.3, I've noticed the same thing. You have a large military contingent there. You have a bunch of people that I think tend to be very right-leaning, very patriotic. And you plunk that right down in the middle of tofu, sprout-eating, tree-hugging, hippy-dippy California, and there's going to be some people at odds. Now, if those folks were in their own parts of the country where people only thought the way they did, well, they would probably demonize and villainize people that thought differently. But here's the thing. When your neighbor voted differently than you, but they loaned you their lawnmower, or they might be really hot, you tend to just kind of get along. Prejudice doesn't stand up to contact. Real people, ultimately, the vast majority of us, are hardwired to be compassionate toward one another when we see it face to face. If you're dealing in abstracts, if you're dealing with people that aren't there, then, well, it's easy to be hardened. It's easy to reject them as people and the value of their opinions. If they're just numbers on a page, it's very easy to disassociate yourself from the fact that they're real human beings that want the same things in this world as you do. Now, the reasons I wouldn't take a knee are twofold. One, there's folks in the military. Look, there's plenty of folks in the military that said this is exactly the sort of thing we fought for, the right to free speech. You take those knees, boys, you take them. Seen that over and over again. But there's a lot of folks in the military who I think feel as though kneeling during the national anthem, symbolically, that is not appreciating their sacrifice. That is not appreciating everything that they fought so we could have. They risked losing everything. Many of them gave all. Their families lost sons, husbands, fathers. And I would never take a knee because I would never want to offend those folks. And I would also never take a knee because when I'm trying to make a point about people coming together and equality, I want people to lean in and talk to me, not run away screaming about the fact that I don't appreciate what I've got.
Leave the stimulation to the professionals.
Everyone is so smart.
KPRC, more stimulating talk radio.
There's something happening here, and you should know what it is. The Dumbing Up of America. Now, more AD on the radio.
Funkhouser, you went to college for a little bit, right?
2 solid years, sir. Yes, I did.
Were you in a fraternity? Were you in...
No, I went to community college, man. I didn't go to real school.
Do they not have fraternities at community colleges? I thought there were frats everywhere.
If they did, I wasn't invited to them.
Gotcha. You would think, right? You would think that there would be a certain destructive quality in joining a fraternity. Like I wasn't in a frat, and my sister actually was in a sorority. She speaks very highly of it. Yeah, like here's the thing. Apparently, they have a distinct effect on your grades when you join a fraternity. Do you think they improve or lower your GPA when you join a fraternity?
I think they improve.
They do not.
Oh.
Fraternities hurt your grades, but ultimately, and this is very interesting, it says something extraordinary about the value of human connection and community. While they might destroy your grades while you're in college, they can really help you out afterwards. I found this to be, like I said, a bit of a fascinating sociological thing, and we'll get to why joining a frat might be for you and might help you out over the long run after we get into the events of today. What's going on in the world, Funkhouser?
Well, the hard-hitting news first here, ladies and gentlemen. This just in off the wire. Hey, look, there's a wire in here. Kylie Jenner is pregnant.
Yeah. Kim Kardashian's kid sister.
Oh, no, don't crash your car.
Is
it's
Kim
real.
Kardashian's kid sister, Kylie Jenner. And I think Khloe Kardashian is supposed to be pregnant as well. You can find out more on the next... Yeah, you can find out more on the next episode of Knocking Up with the Kardashians. I don't think Khloe's been confirmed yet, but for Kylie Jenner's part, she's asked that the press respect her privacy and... Kidding. Couldn't even get through it. She's selling the naming rights to her uterus as we speak. And she's doing that while her mom shops the rights to the conception video. And she's trying to come up with a cool K name that goes with her sisters, Kim, Courtney, Kendall, and Khloe. And I think she's just going to settle on Ka-ching. So, yeah, there's more of them. The Kardashians are reproducing. There will be reality shows forever and ever and ever.
Respect my privacy. It's worth about $50,000.
Oh, my gosh. Kardashian privacy is worth... You know, I think it's been 10 years. I think Keeping Up with the Kardashians has been on the air 10 years. And so I don't think this is a coincidence at all. I think that Mama Chris has, in her infinite momager wisdom, that's what she calls herself, right? A momager. I think she's decided that, well, you know, she makes a business out of pimping out her daughters, and they're all getting a little long in the tooth. She does not believe that the older the berry, the sweeter the juice. She knows that this is a youth-obsessed culture, and she's going to have to continue cranking out generations of media fame skanks to keep the family legacy alive.
And she's looking for more K letters names. Because I met a weather reporter in El Paso, Texas named Candlelight, Kandolite, and I'd still... K-A-N... I'll never forget that name. I thought it was one of the coolest names, especially for a weather lady. Candlelight.
How are you spelling this?
Kandolite. Candlelight. Hi, I'm Candlelight. What's the name? Candlelight Flores.
Candlelight Flores.
There she is. Oh, yeah. Candlelight.
I'm private.
Isn't that a great name? Candlelight Kardashian. Hi, I'm with Candlelight Kardashian at the news here.
I'd wondered if a candlelight would look like. Yep, I was right. Mm-hmm. This is exactly what I was expect a weather personality called Candlelight to look like. Did she have hippie parents? You met her?
No, I think I met her. I can't remember. I had breezed through town once earlier this year, and I went, Candlelight? She's my favorite.
She apparently won a local celebrity bikini contest, and with good reason, too. Looks like in the fitness department, she is vastly superior to you or me, Funkhouser. And for that reason, looks good in a bikini.
Hey, you're welcome, Candlelight. Get some clicks tonight.
Yeah.
Wow, my Google stock went up. Ooh.
Yeah. What else?
The Wahlberg family burger chain, the Wahlburgers, is facing financial difficulties.
A friend of mine went to the iHeartRadio Music Festival in Las Vegas and went to Wahlburgers while they were there.
Which one of you didn't know how to add?
Said it was delicious. But hold on, the Wahlburger family chain, Wahlburgers, facing financial difficulty. Everybody go have a Wahlburger and a milkshake and buy Wahlburger gift certificates, because otherwise we're going to get another Transformers sequel, and I'd really rather not have that.
All 194 episodes of Will and Grace are now streaming on Hulu. Thank goodness.
No, well, I guess we know how Mike Pence is going to be spending the next couple of weeks. Oh my gosh! Apparently, it was a little train wrecky when Megyn Kelly had the cast of Will and Grace on her show.
Ooh,
it was
her
audio? First ever. Yeah, no. If we don't get to it today, we'll do that tomorrow. Remember, we were talking about this is like the Fox News girl, or Fox News woman. Sorry,
she's our girl, man. We used to.
She is the Fox News home girl. We used to share hallways with her, and her star rose considerably when she, much like the LeBron James and especially Steph Curry's of this world, got into a very public war of words with Donald Trump. Now, she was like this massive star of the right. Then she jumped to NBC. What do you do when you're making more money than ever before? You quit. You find somebody else who's going to... have you ever done this, Funkhouser? The idea is when you get promoted, you quit because, you're all of a sudden worth something.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I quit before I get fired. I mean, before I get promoted or fired.
Right.
That's.
I've always heard that's what you're supposed to do. Like, you're supposed to quit. So
it raises your value.
It raises your value, and also if you started as an intern at a company and you rise through the ranks and you get promoted, the vast majority of the people there are just going to see you as the intern. So there's some shark type business manuals.
You're supposed to find another job before you quit, though.
Right. Yeah. No. You're supposed to jump ship to another job. Now I'm all locked up with contracts, so that is not an opportunity that is available to me. The only way I can ever get out, the only way I ever get to get out is if during a very small negotiation window, the right job is open. And it's such a weird thing. There's a little peek behind the radio curtain. I'm not blowing my own horn here, but there's not too many places for me to go that could be considered up. I'm sort of at the top of my game in a lot of ways.
Come on, you can be the president.
But I don't want to be that. I have no interest in being the president of this company, nor of the United States of America. But here's the thing. I got very few places that I could go that would be considered up. The rock stations that I'm on are some of the most listened to rock stations in the country. In fact, The Buzz in Houston is the most listened to alternative rock station in all of America. That blows people's minds, but here's the deal. In a city like LA, you have a bunch of different people vying for the same pie. The Buzz in Houston is so entrenched as part of the community. We have such a tight-knit relationship with the people that listen there that there's no competition. There's no other rock station. There's no other alternative station. So we're kind of all things to all people. I think once or twice in the 10, 15 years that I've been there, competition has opened up, and they've always lasted no more than 6 months. So you have, the fourth largest city in America, and you're the only game in town. It's the most listened to station in America. where do I go from there? There's not too many places that could be considered advancement. So even if I did have an offer, like during that very slim negotiation window, it'd likely not be that much. Have I peaked, Funkhouser? Is this as good as it gets? I'm just having a bit of a realization.
This is why we won't be on the air in Tallahassee ever.
Yeah. But, like, I guess we could just be on in more cities. Like, I think I'm on in, like...
That's huge.
Yeah, no, that's huge, I guess. I don't know. I think between this show and the other...
You hang out on top there.
I think between this show and the music show, it's like 25 cities now. I don't know. You would think I would drive a better car. All right, what else?
You need a map with those pins so you can be like, Kansas City, Kansas. Applause. Walmart is testing a service where an employee will bring groceries to your home and put them in your fridge.
Yeah, like retail shopping has become a thing of the past because nobody wants to get in their car. Spend money on costly gasoline, deal with people who are obviously the worst, and then buy your own stuff, schlep it through the parking lot, deal with people again, bring it home, have to carry it up the stairs and all the above. No, you want to, from the comfort of your living room couch in your underwear, covered in Cheetos crumbs while watching whatever the hell you want to on TV, order stuff on your phone and have it delivered directly to your front door. That's why retail stores are going away. But Walmart, in a never-ending bid to stay relevant, has taken it one step further. They want to deliver food directly into your refrigerator. Walmart is testing this service where an employee will bring groceries to your home while you're out and put them in your fridge, which I got to tell you is great because last time I walked into a Walmart, the only thing going through my head was, what will it take to get these guys to come to my home while I'm not around, rifle through my things, and touch everything I'm going to put in my mouth with their hands? Because that sounds great. I don't think I'm on board.
That guy looks like he can open a door. Let's ask him.
Although, like, look, the infrastructure it requires to set this up seems incredible because apparently there's going to be a code on your door, and they'll get a one-time use code to you'll have a code lock on your door, and they're going to get a one-time code to unlock it. So it's a different code every single time. So they don't have
somebody was in the doorknob section going, "How do we do an upsell in this aisle?"
Right. But then you're apparently supposed to be able to watch the whole process. I guess maybe they have like body cams on while they're doing it. So do you have to set up a webcam at home so you can watch them put food in your fridge? It's just, apparently there's sort of like all these levels of high-tech accountability with it that make it less creepy. But yeah. All right, nifty idea.
I think
let's try it. You first.
Yeah. I think the high-tech thing is the creepy part.
Yeah.
A new study says that people who pleasure themselves at least 4 times a day, 4 times a week, that's 4 times a week, live better and healthier lives.
Really?
4 times a week.
What if you cry while you're doing it? I'm asking for a friend. 4 times a week makes you happier and healthier? People that do it 4 times. Yeah, people that do it 4 times, or as I like to call them, slackers. Your happiness is literally in your hands.
Your what?
You're literally in your hands. You just can't be master of your domain anymore. Forget trying to pass Trump care. That's clearly not working. Another one is falling apart. Give everyone in the country a free subscription to Pornhub and watch us flourish. Go on.
And lastly, scientists say we need to take sleep deprivation a lot more seriously. Oh, no.
What?
Where'd he go? He's gone.
We'll be back tomorrow. We'll do it all over again. At ADSXZ is where you can tweet me. At FunkFM, you can tweet Funkhouser there.